What's the vibe, Shy? Welcome back to Life Student Academy, where we get inspired, we stay informed, and we have intellectual conversations that helps us to grow spiritually so that we could thrive in all areas of our lives. This came to me today upon self-reflection, and I thought I'd share the message with you. Do you remember the saying, when people show you who they are, believe them? I fully got it. And I figured that I should share. When people show you who they are, believe them. That doesn't mean it's an opportunity for you to change them. And this was a really big one for me because a part of my human design is insight. It's to drop these gems, y'all. It's to give insight or at least food for thought that could potentially be applied in others' lives, not just mine. And that's important too, because we're meant to share. Yeah, we're all on a personal journey. We all have our personal endeavors, but at the same time, we're a human collective, and what I do actually affects others around me and have effects in others' lives. And the same thing happens of what you're doing in your life. One way or another, it is affecting those around you, and even so much so for me across the screen. So it's really important that when we're providing insight into our life experience and we're conscious that we're not trying to inject our experiences or our opinions into others. Stop trying to change people. We're supposed to accept people as they are, not change them. We can make an offering or even give an invitation. And it's up to that person's free will to accept, not for us to convince or demand them to be different and other than who they're showing up as right now in this current moment. People deserve that respect from us the same way we deserve that respect from people. Like, think about it. Someone tells you what to do or who to be other than what you are right now, you might feel offended. You might become defensive. And so when others do the same thing, it's like, oh, okay, like you can understand from their viewpoint because you've been there too. And then also, just because someone's offering their opinion about who you should be or how you should behave doesn't mean that you have to accept that if it doesn't actually align with who you are or the best version of yourself. We surely should not just be changing for others so that we can keep them around in our lives. Like, if it's something that benefits you and you can see that it benefits your greater good and then therefore the good of others, then that's different. But changing for others just so that they'll stick around because we rather not face abandonment or loneliness or not have to deal with the reflection portion of what's going on, like what just happened, it ain't it. That's not where growth is, tribe. And because you're here watching this, I know that you can do better and that we could do better. They expressed that that's just how they are, or that they didn't want to change that part of themselves, especially just to cater to you. When someone becomes defensive, that's actually the worst time to try to get them to see your perspective over their own perspective, because their perspective is going to come first. And it's not different for you either. Your perspective is going to come first before another's perspective, hence why arguments happen, right? This is how people have conflict. It's two opposing opinions about something. If we can just accept people the way that they are truly, which is typically what we ask people to do of us too. Accept us the way that we are. Some of us might ask for a little bit more. Like me, I want to know how I'm doing in our relationship and in our connection. Like, am I being the best friend that I can be? Can I be better? Am I being the best partner that I can be? Can I do better? Like, I'm one of those that will actually ask you that in our connection, especially if you're not verbalizing how you feel about me. I want to know. I need that information. I crave it because it's important to me to thrive in every area of my life, especially relationships and connections. Those are the most important to us. I mean, hey, all things are relative anyway, right? Like we're in relationship with all kinds of people and all kinds of things. But back to my point about not changing people. We don't necessarily want people to change us either, right? Like, you ever had someone offer their opinion about you and you became defensive, or you were unwilling to hear over your own perspective? Or can you think of a time which you actually said, thanks for the feedback, I'll consider exactly what you said? Or maybe you stood firmly in who you are, who you worked on this part of yourself, this version of yourself to be. That comes from a more conscious and decisive state of being. But just to be clear, if we're trying to convince someone that they need to change something about themselves, and we can see in the moment that they're not open to receiving that, or they don't feel the same way, or they straight up say that no, they don't want to, that's it. There's nothing more to do. There's nothing more to say, especially in that moment. Like, maybe it's a conversation that can be revisited later, but you would want to know that a person wants to do this for themselves, for the benefit of you. Anyone who's doing something just because you asked, you already know that more than likely it's not going to be something that's sustainable, because we're all self-motivated and self-centered. We're doing things to the benefit of ourselves. Even when people are willing to change, it's still for the benefit of themselves. Maybe they want to be with you. Maybe they want to keep that connection, that friendship, that relationship with you. And so there still has to be a mutual benefit in which they're receiving. So it's good to just observe and to notice how someone is, who they are, and to say, oh, okay. And if those are not qualities or attributes in which you want to involve yourself in any kind of way, this could be a platonic or a romantic relationship, but if these are qualities and attributes in which you would choose not to on another day involve yourself in, that's your information right there to still do the very same thing. See, a lot of times we make exceptions for people for whatever reason. Maybe they're good looking. Maybe there are a lot of qualities that we do like about them. That's fine. However, if these are behaviors that at the very core, you're not willing to accept around you in your life, that doesn't add value to who you are in connection with them, we need to just accept that. There's nothing to change about that person. We got to let people be. Everybody's on their own journey, trying to find their own path and doing their best at that. And we don't get to determine what their best is and when they should give it. They do. And it's better when they ask you for it than to tell someone when they didn't ask you. We want the same respect, so we should give the same respect to others. It's okay to make a suggestion, and it's okay to express yourself. And how that person chooses to respond is information for you to take away and make a decision for yourself with. Not for them, for yourself. Oh, that's the beauty of being able to discern relationships. How do you discern relationships otherwise if you're constantly looking for someone to be different than who they are? And what kind of relationship and connection is that anyway, if that's all you care about is the way someone needs to be in order for you to feel better? And if they're not that, then you feel worse. And then you keep asking them to change these things, and that is not the foundation and the basis of a loving relationship and connection, y'all. We gotta do better. And better starts with ourselves. So there is no one else that you need to work on but you. Don't you forget it. Give people the same grace that you would ask for in return. And give yourself the same grace as well. Allow yourself to take in this learning moment, to go back and reflect, to see how you've asked or demanded others to change in order for you to feel better or for you to feel satisfied. See where you didn't accept who they were, but also how you didn't use that information to make a decision for yourself. Also, take a moment to reflect on where you could have been different, where someone might have asked you for change and you might have said no because you do accept yourself, or maybe you might have said no because you simply weren't ready to have a review on that. Either way, it's all good. Students of life, that's why we're here. We're just learning every day, right? I would love to hear what you thought about this conversation. What's the gems that you've taken away? What will be your approach in accepting others as they come to you, right? God said, come as you are, and they meant it. So how do we give others the same grace for them to come as they are and us accept it? And that doesn't need to mean that they need to be more than who they are currently. Don't forget to let me know what other kind of topics that you'd like to talk about so that we can continue to be better students of life and ultimately be the best versions of ourselves. Subscribe if you like this content, tribe. I appreciate you, tribe, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Peace.